You're fighting for something. You might have to suffer consequences, but it's worth it because you did it. Because you love your kid.
Tony, it is so great to talk with you. This is an absolutely beautiful film from start to finish. So I wanted to congratulate you on it to start.
Thank you.
Now,
I really appreciate that.
absolutely. Now, it's crazy to think that it's been almost over a decade since you were last in the directorial chair for a feature. What was it about Tony's script that really sparked your interest to want to bring it to life?
Yeah, I mean, Tony and I, like as you said, I think Conviction was my last movie, and then I did Scandal for 7 years, so couldn't direct really. So I was looking, but I wasn't looking that hard. Tony is my oldest and dearest friend, Tony Spiridakis, and he had written this script based on his own experience with his autistic son, Dimitri, who I've known since he was a baby. And I'd read many drafts as a friend over the years, and a couple of years ago, Tony sent me a revised draft that he'd been working on just to get some feedback. And whatever work he had done on the script hit me so hard, I said, I need to do this. And we need to do this together. Like, to tell my best friend's story in this movie, I just thought it was like a lightning bolt. I just had to do it. And the two of us rolled up our sleeves and put it together.
I love to hear that. It's always, it makes it all the more impactful to hear those kinds of behind the scenes stories on a film like this.
Yeah.
Now, with that said, then, with this being such a personal story for Tony, I'd love to hear what the casting process was like, both for Max and for Ezra, since they are very much the heart of this story.
Yeah, Max was obviously the first choice we had to make. And we landed on Bobby Cannavale, Bobby, who I had known for a long time and always really admired. We needed in Max a guy who could often behave very objectionably, like do things that you're like, what are you doing? And yet care about him. And Bobby's such a big-hearted person and is so, you just care about him. So, and yet there's a sort of live wire, unpredictable quality about him as an actor. And I believe that he could pull off the stand-up comedy. And he's just really smart. So I also get excited when I think no one's ever seen this actor in this kind of a role. Like, I felt that Bobby could really surprise people with this. So we landed on him, and then of course De Niro was our first choice, and De Niro said yes, and we started putting the rest of this amazing cast together. But the key, we knew without an Ezra, we didn't have a movie, and we were determined to cast an autistic actor to play Ezra. So we launched a nationwide search for William, and we enlisted members of the autism community to help us in that. And we saw like 100 kids and couldn't find him. And about 3 weeks before we started shooting, very nervous that we wouldn't have a movie without this right kid, William's tape came in, audition tape came in, and he was like kind of magical. And I, wanted to meet him the next day, and he came in and worked with Bobby, and the two of them hit it off immediately, and he was improvising, and he's just a natural actor. And it was great. And when I first met, the second I met him in the waiting room, I went up to him and I mentioned that it was based on Tony Spiridakis' son, Dimitri, and I went and shake his hand, and it was Dimitri Spiridakis at 12 years old. It was literally like seeing a ghost of my friend's kid. And I ran into the room, I said, Tony, that's Dimitri out there. So it just was all the stars aligned.
That's amazing. I love to hear that. So I see I'm almost out of time. Before I let you go, some moons ago, you did another one of my favorite movies of yours, which was Ghost. And Channing Tatum is currently working on developing a updated version of it. Demi recently shared her own thoughts on her curiosity about how it would go, but I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are on
I didn't
it coming
know
back.
That. I didn't know that. Like, I love Channing Tatum. I think he's so gifted. I'd be really excited to see what he does with it. It's a great story and a timeless story, and I think if done well, it could work just as gangbusters as it did 30 whatever years ago.
Well, I hope it can at least live up to the legacy that you all put forth on that original movie, because it is such a classic. But in the meantime, I really look forward to spreading the word about Ezra. Tony, seriously, you've done an incredible job with this film, and I can't wait for people to see it.
Oh, that means a lot to me. Thank you. I appreciate it.
The word autism comes from the Greek, in your own world. I don't want him in his own world. I want him in this world.